off script, things went off the rails.
I'm going to go with encourage as the answer to this question, but I also want to show the word compassion, I think, is appropriate. This dude is in his second year. Played all 17 games last year. Last night, he scored his first rushing touchdown of his career. Played all 17 games last year, opener last night. His second year in the league. This is his third head coach. And his fourth offensive coordinator.
That's crazy.
I mean, come on. Crazy. You know what I'm saying? We got to look at it from that standpoint, too. And then last but not least, here's what we got to take into consideration. I know he only completed after going 6 for 6 to start the game or whatever. He completed 11 to 25 passes, only 44% of his passes the rest of the way. That was a Brian Flores deal.
That's right. And they started rushing him. They started rushing 7 mil on the line of scrimmage.
And you got one of the elite defensive minds, because that's what Brian Flores is.
Absolutely.
That can confuse you a bit and throw some stuff at you that you may not have seen before. And not only that, Brian Flores was coaching against, Ben Johnson last year.
Right.
So he's very familiar with who he's going up against. And now instead of Jared Goff, you got Caleb Williams behind center with not the same kind of weapons. Even though Chicago's got some weapons, they don't have Jameson Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown, along with Gibbs and along with Montgomery, and along with Laporta. I mean, you don't have those kind of weapons. So you got Ben Johnson, who you kind of know what he wants to do. And you got a squad in terms of personnel that's inferior to what he had to coach against before.
Why are you making that face? Because it sounds like excuses, or are you buying it?
No, I'm buying what Stephen A. is saying, but I wish he'd take it a step further, because he's going someplace that I think we need to talk about a little bit today.
Which is?
Nobody is talking about how Ben Johnson, sliding over from coordinator to head coach, had some growing pains last year. Nobody's talking about that now. Because Ben Johnson, we thought he had it all figured out in the first quarter when they were on script through the first 15. But what he didn't realize was Brian Flores was playing chess, not checkers.
That's right.
Okay?
In the long game.
Exactly. Because in the first quarter, guess what? Brian Flores only sent one blitz toward Caleb Williams on all those dropbacks. One blitz. In the remainder of the game, Brian Flores blitzed him 14 times.
That's right.
The blitz rate went from 29% to 44% from the first half to the second half, and Ben Johnson did not have a counterpunch to the adjustments that D-Flow made. And then also, another thing, the gap at the end of the game with Cairo Santos kicking the ball in the end zone and letting them return it and not getting a 2-minute warning as a timeout.
That's right.
You got to kick the damn ball out of bounds. That's on the head coach. So there are some things that Ben Johnson left to be desired. I know a lot of the focus will be on Caleb Williams, but Ben Johnson needs to have some heat up under his seat right now, too.
For sure. Some of that I'll agree with. I'll say this, though. There were answers, and Caleb missed some throws to some wide open receivers against the blitz, right? The wide open, you got to hit that for a touchdown in the fourth quarter. You got a guy screaming down the sideline. The hook up right before it in the middle of the field. So there were answers. He got guys open. The difference, I think, from Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams versus McCarthy and O'Connell is this. They've only got about 5 or 6 months together. He has to untrain, to Stephen A's point, a year plus of organizational failure from the Bears to what he did as a quarterback. So all those habits, you and I both know, those habits are hard to break. And when things start to go chaotic, you tend to fall back to those. I think that's where Ben Johnson and the development that he'll have for Caleb Williams will put him in that same category, because we've seen him do it with Jared Goff. But it does take time. And again, Minnesota ran the ball much better than Chicago did in the second half. There were a lot of things that helped the quarterback look better, but Caleb missed some of the throws that I think Ben did have some stuff open. He's got to make, those are the ones that you'll go back to film and go, hey, as a QB, you make those, and as a head coach, I won't do those things, right? Both and.
I appreciate the insight, and both of y'all know. But here's the thing. I'm looking at this here. Declan Doyle, is that his name? I mean, who the hell is this guy? That's your offensive coordinator, right? First-time offensive coordinator. Was a tight ends coach in Denver over the last 2 years. So you got a first-time coordinator. Okay, you got a first-time head coach. Okay, it's your fourth head coach in a season and a game, because it ain't even 2 full seasons. A season and a game, 18 games.
That's right.
4 offensive coordinators and 3 head coaches. That's a lot for a young quarterback to deal with, which is why I would go back to Ben Johnson as well, because knowing what I just highlighted, it's even more of the onus on Ben Johnson, because you know what the kid is dealing with.
And Stephen A., when he took the job, Ben Johnson said the first thing that he needed to do was make sure that the quarterback and the play caller saw the game through the same eyes.
Right.
That's the first thing that he said. So when we start talking about
Caleb, the coordinator or the quarterback and the coordinator.
No, the quarterback and the play caller.
Got it.
Right.
The play caller
Got it.
see the game through the same eyes.
Right.
And so when we start talking about all of these open receivers that Caleb Williams missed, and I admit it, he missed some open receivers. That's also on the coach.
Right.
Like he's got to help
play caller.
he's got to help those guys. And all of that being said, Stephen A., with everything stacked up against Caleb Williams, you still had a double-digit lead at home against the division opponent in the fourth quarter, going up against a quarterback who had never started an NFL game before.
Right.
You got to find a way to be able to win that game.
Yeah.
Which is about your defense, because Dennis Allen, a former defensive coordinator, a former head coach who's now back to being the defensive coordinator.
Right.
You got to find a way to get at McCarthy and shut that, because he's a rookie.
Yeah.
That's what he is. He's a rookie. You
sure.
got to find a way to shut him down and prevent him, especially with Jordan Addison not being out there.
Yeah.
You got to be able to pull that off.
Caleb Williams, I will say this about him as well. After they were down, him taking it down and scoring was a big deal. Like, he responded as well. Again, he's not in charge of special teams, what happens afterwards, but he did give his team a chance, right? He scores. Now they're down by 3. You hold them. You get a chance to go tie the game, possibly win the game. Unfortunately, don't work out that way, but I like the response by Caleb Williams.
Let's see how he responds week 2, Detroit Lions. That one's at 1 Eastern. Ben Johnson against his former team. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I mean, if there's ever been a must-win for both teams.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
What it feels like.
Exactly.
One feels
This
like
is personal.
Right, let's stay in the
buddy.
NFC. I got a quick take for you guys. The 49ers will be without star tight end George Kittle for a few weeks. He's dealing with a hamstring. They could also be without Brock Purdy this weekend against the Saints as the quarterback deals with a left shoulder and a toe injury. Stephen A., how concerned are you by this?
Well, you got to be concerned, okay? Because Brandon Ayuk, ACL, MCL, he's not expected back. He's not starting out the season. He's been on the PUP list. Now you're hearing about Purdy and his shoulder and his toe. They're worried more about his toe than his shoulder.
Right.
So much so that they're questioning whether or not he's going to be available this Sunday. And, of course, your tight end spot, Kittles, is out. All right, so you got Ayuk out. You got your quarterback hurt. You got your tight end out. Okay, and then remember, Deebo Samuel is no longer there. He's in Washington. So there's a lot to be concerned about. We've been talking about the 49ers for the longest time, and they've been knocking on the door before they finally, missed out last year due to injuries. At some point in time, you got to look at them and wonder when that window is closed.
That's right.
We can rave about Kyle Shanahan all we want to, and he deserves it outside of his Super Bowl performances, because we know that leaves a lot to be desired. But outside of the actual Super Bowl performance in terms of his coaching, the man has been elite on every level leading up to the Super Bowl. But you got to give him the personnel. C-Mac is, he was out there, and, 1 minute he's hurt, another minute he's healthy.